How do you track the success of nonprofit volunteer campaigns? Imagine trying to improve a recipe without tasting it first. That's what tracking your volunteer campaigns is like without the right data. If you want to know what's working and what's not, you need specific ways to measure success. Nonprofits use a mix of numbers and stories to see how well their volunteer efforts are doing. One key measure is the volunteer participation rate. This tells you how many volunteers are actually engaging in the activities you planned. For example, if you recruit 50 volunteers and 38 sign up for a cleanup event, that's a participation rate of about 76%. It shows how appealing your campaign is. Then there's the volunteer retention rate. This measures how many volunteers stay with your organization over time. If you start the year with 50 volunteers and end with 45, that's a good sign they're happy and satisfied. On the flip side, the volunteer turnover rate shows how many leave. If many volunteers leave quickly, it might mean they aren't feeling valued or the roles aren't clear. Tracking total volunteer hours is also important. If volunteers contribute 100 hours in a month, you can see how much work is getting done. Breaking this down helps identify which activities need more support or training. The conversion rate is another useful number. It shows how many people you reach actually decide to volunteer. For example, if you invite 100 people and 37 sign up, your outreach efforts are working well. But numbers only tell part of the story. Gathering stories and feedback from volunteers and the people they serve adds a personal touch. These stories show the real impact of your work. Asking volunteers how they feel about their experience through surveys can reveal if they're satisfied and growing personally. If volunteers feel fulfilled, they're more likely to stay and recommend others. For nonprofits that use volunteer hours to get funding from companies, tracking how many hours are logged and how many grant applications are submitted is key. This shows how engaged your volunteers are and how well you're turning effort into support. Using volunteer management software makes tracking all these numbers easier. It helps with scheduling, communication, and data collection. By regularly checking these metrics, nonprofits can see what's working and what needs fixing. This way, they can improve their volunteer campaigns, keep volunteers happy, and make a bigger difference in their community.